One thing that is very fun about being in Pittsburgh is your sort of singleness in fandom. The way that you love the Steelers, right? The way that you, yeah. And I saw this story about a woman whose husband sadly passed, and to commemorate him, she kept his Steelers tattoo. I'm glad we're on the same page. Because initially when I saw it, I was like, what? Yeah, no, kept the Steelers tattoo and it's like in a little. And then in the article, she was like, yes, we kept the tattoo. No, we don't think it's weird. And I was like, I figured you didn't think it was weird. Seems like it was your idea. That would be wild if you were sitting there holding the plaque like, I can't believe they let us do this. This is... little odd, right? And look, I don't know. Wow. Like when I saw it, I was like, because also, look, I'm not gonna linger on it too long, but it was a big tattoo, so I don't even know what that, is that back? Is that arm? Is that, you know what I mean? And maybe this is something that the husband would have loved. Maybe he's like, yeah, keep it, put it in the living room, right? I don't know. I also don't know how hauntings work, but I imagine I do imagine having some of my skin means I'm gonna stop by. If anybody ever kept some of my neck, I think I'd be like, we have to have a discussion. Poltergeist or not, I'm coming over, we're talking about it. You know, you already have to be careful in people's houses because you never know who got the urn on the mantle or something like that. I don't know why they don't sell urns with like a lock on it. Every urn I've ever come across just been ready to be opened like a cup of sugar. We gotta start making urns harder to spill. You know what I mean? I've been in people's houses where they got, whether it's like a family member or the pet, they got the urn on like a mantle or a bookshelf, and I'm like, that's a little high. If it falls, they will be everywhere. And it does sort of, I don't know. It does taint the memory a little bit if this urn fall and now you gotta Dyson him up. And then put him back in a new urn with whatever was on the carpet. Just something to think about, baby. Literally, just even McDonald's cups are harder to spill. Just something with a twist lock, something. Because let's be honest, unless you spread in the ashes, you never need the ashes. You know? It's not like you hiding something in the ashes and then you're gonna open up the urn, pull out the Glock. Like that'd be a wild home invasion. That'd be imagine you're, let's say somebody, goodness forbid, but let's say somebody broke in your house or something like that, and then they've got you and the family held hostage, and maybe you did something to them. Maybe you're a healthcare CEO, right? And so then they got you tied up with your family and everything, and it's like, look, I'm sorry, all right? And they're like, sorry is not enough, you about to go. It's like, okay. All right, I get that, but okay, but a long time ago, my wife passed, and I always said that, like, whenever I go, I'd like to go with her, and she's right there. Intruder gonna be like, over there? Yeah, she's on the fourth shelf. Fourth shelf next to Great Expectations. If I could just like hold her, I'll just, this small kindness. Let me hold her while you bow. The intruder's like, okay, go ahead. Go get her. Thanks, honey. No, it's wild. Because now that mantle it's like in a frame. And I guess they're gonna put it on the wall. That seemed just as precarious as any urn. Imagine you having a house party. And somebody bumped the frame, it fall. Now you getting yelled at. You knocked over daddy. Everybody does things differently, and some people very differently. But once again, I don't know. I don't know if he would have loved this sort of thing, But it'd be crazy to think he might be looking down like, ugh. But in case he loves this sort of thing, and in case he can hear us on 3, I'd love all of you to join me in a Go Steelers. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Hopefully that will stop me from being haunted. In my life, I've had a lot of roommates, and it's funny because, like, I don't know. I've talked about this before, but like, roommates is like extra family because you're poor. You don't exactly bunk up with a stranger because things are going well. Every roommate I've ever had has been out of necessity. And you just gotta get used to it. But it's crazy because people, the way that people are roommates is usually a clue into how they lived before, like how they were raised potentially. Maybe they were raised to act differently than they're acting as roommates, and this is them out on their own for the first time, rebelling against all these rules they had at home when they were, younger. That's the most charitable way to put it. Like, I think mostly a lot of people are insane. And there's nothing like having like a messy or lunatic roommate, and then maybe you do become friends though. Maybe you're friends, maybe you're friendly. And then you go visit them at their house and you see that it's pretty much the same. This person is wild through and through. I had a roommate that, there would be some nights where he would sleep in the bathtub. He had a bed, he had a mattress, he had pillows. But he said he would sleep in the bathtub because it felt more normal to him when he would wake up from a night terror. And I was like, I don't know how you find that out. That means this man had night terrors and tried every room before he went tub. And that was a tough roommate to have because, I would go to bed at a regular time, even a little late because, we're young and everything. We're in college, and then I would just know I can't go to the bathroom for the rest of the night. No, I can't. I'm gonna have to hold it until he wakes up. And what would normally be distressing, sleeping peacefully, and then hearing from the bathroom, is only made a relief, because then I know, okay, he's up, I can go. A lot of people in America worry about terrorism. This is a top concern for some people, and it just depends, mostly to me at least, on when you were born. And I think that within this understanding of terrorism, there are many different definitions. One definition is someone who stokes fear and anxiety for the purpose of fear and anxiety in their enemies. And there's a lot of talk of terrorism or potential terrorism. People get called terrorists all the time, and there are some people that want to equate terrorism to one specific group, one specific religion. But I know that there are terrorists, but the terrorists that I'm talking about, they have no religion. The terrorists that I'm talking about, the terrorists that I believe already live in the U.S., they don't have some God that they call to for their purpose of doing what they do. They just do it to stoke fear and anxiety. I'm talking about people who put an empty box of cereal back on the shelf. These people have no place in our society, all right? I had a roommate. Last straw for me was this man. I had bought some Cheerios, and I bought it for the group. We all eating out here. And so then I go to grab the Cheerios, and I'm excited, I'm hungry. And I go to grab the Cheerios, and there's a certain feeling. Anyone who's been a victim of what I'm talking about will know the feeling. It is a weightlessness of despair. You go to grab what you think might even be a half-full box of cereal, and in your attempt to grab it, you put too much energy, too much force into your shoulder, into your arm, into your hand. And when you put that force into your shoulder and your arm and your hand, and you grab the box of cereal and you go to lift it up, you hit the top of the cabinet. Because there's nothing in there. And not only is there nothing in there, what's been left is crumbs. And the sound of crumbs is the jingle bells of poverty, all right? I've never felt poorer than when I hear crumbs. Hearing crumbs is right out of Oliver Twist. Crumbs is what Charles Dickinson wrote all his best work to. I didn't even think I could hear crumbs. Oh, but they have a sound. It's a mix between bread particles bouncing off each other and then a whisper. It's in a moment. It's something that almost can't be identified. And it's the whisper of those crumbs, the same way that you could split atoms or you could collide particles and make an entire boom, a bang, a nuclear bomb, and a hydrogen bomb. The banging together of these bread particles makes one singular noise, and it is the universe telling you from a point of almost quantum physics, bouncing the particles off each other, that you're poor. That's the sound of poor. Wouldn't you love to say yum? You'll never say it. You're too poor. These are crumbs. If you've ever, in your life, out of necessity, not out of deliciousness, had to pour crumbs into your mouth, only in the Bible do I imagine this level of thirst for food. You might as well be in the desert. Even if you are in your Pittsburgh apartment, you might as well be in the desert if you are opening your mouth, letting it hang, while an entire bag while a bag of crumbs slides and floats to your mouth. Because the crumbs that are sliding into your mouth from this bag, they have no Christianity. These crumbs are there to embarrass you. They're there to make you look and feel poor while you pour them into your mouth. Maybe that's where we get the word poor from, and maybe that's where we get the other word poor from, because you have to pour these into your mouth while you feel like the poorest person that has ever lived. And the bag is stiff because it's that hard, semi-soft plastic that they only make cereal bags out of. And because of that, it's got a lot of ridges. It's got a lot of things that the crumbs can slide and get caught up on, you know? It's a lot like when you try to get water to a new place and the water is working its way through the canyon, but it doesn't know where to go yet. It's being pushed by the other water. And this gravity that's pulling down the crumbs to your mouth has the crumbs rushing at you from all angles. Even when you try to pinch the bag, you try to pinch the bag to give yourself some dignity. You try to pinch it and straighten it up to make a funnel for your mouth, because this is all you have. Crumbs is all you have. Crumbs is your life. And so you make it as straight as possible. You slide it down. Only when you are making a paper plane do you have this level of intent as you straighten something out. You straighten it out as much as possible, and then you dip it into your mouth, and still the ridges find a way. Because the devil is busy. Oh, the devil is hard at work trying to make you look and feel poor, even if you're alone in the room. You pour the crumbs, they're rushing from all angles, skiing down the plastic to your mouth. But then something happens. You don't know if it's in the middle of the bag or it's at the very edge, because some bags, depending on what cereal you get, have smooth tops and some have ridged tops, okay? That's going to be important, because if it's a smooth top, the crumbs will slide out. If there's ridges right at the top, that means that the crumbs have one last giddy up before they get to your mouth. And so then not only do they giddy up, but you are looking for the food. You'd at least like to see what you're eating. And so you're looking down the bag, and the crumbs are like, we can go anywhere. We could go in your mouth, we could go up your nose, but we love to go in your eyes. And so then you're standing there with crumbs in your mouth and in your eyes and down your face and down your shirt, because as soon as they got in your eyes, they stung, because crumbs are sharp. You might as well juggle knives over your open eyes. You know what that feels like? To be You know what that feels like, to have to dig Cinnamon Toast Crunch out your eyes? Every cereal sharp. Every cereal is sharp. And so I remember I was a victim of terrorism. And I took my crumbs like a man. But then I confronted my roommate. I said, hey. I know what you did. You know what you did. I don't know why you did it. I feel like I've been very respectful. I feel like we have a good rapport. I don't know why you would engage in such a vicious attack against my Saturday. And he was like, what? I was like, you know what? Because he did know what. Because without me saying anything else, he was like, look. I put it back, but there was some in there. And I said, some crumbs? He's like, no, there was Cheerios in there. And then I thought, okay, maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe I have accused the wrong roommate, because I have more than one. And so then I walked to the kitchen with him, because the bag and the box were laying on the ground, because I obviously had to run to the bathroom and wash my eyes out of the very sharp cereal. And at this time, first of all, I need to go back. This is the second time this had happened, all right? And so first time was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then the next time it was Cheerios. That's my mistake. And so then he was like, there was some in there, and then we walk over, and the bag and the box are strewn on the floor like a crime scene. Because I had to drop them immediately. I also got Cheerio in my eye. And I was like, there was nothing. And you know there was nothing because it was only crumbs. And now the crumbs are in me and on me. And then he's like, no, there was something left. I was like, what left? And he was like, there was one Cheerio. And I was like, now I know. You might as well be Osama bin Laden, because the fact that there was one Cheerio you chose to not eat and leave means you're out of your mind. And then I looked, and sure enough, there was one Cheerio on the ground. One Cheerio. A single Cheerio. Like a British person saying goodbye. Obviously, I didn't kill him. I'm here with you now, but I thought about it. I struggled a lot, growing up, even into like early adulthood, with opinion of myself, with like body image and everything. It's very difficult sometimes for any young person to believe, if they don't already believe, that they are lovable or that they are good in just the way that they are. Basically, that they are enough. You're still working on yourself. There's still things you want to do with your life. You got your whole life ahead of you, but there's nothing extra you have to do to be worth anything, And it's a hard thing to convince someone of who doesn't believe it. I wish more people believed it. If you saw yourself the way that the people that love you see you, what a beautiful world that would be, And it's not as if love isn't poured into and on these people, showered with praise when something goes right. Not everyone gets it, but even for the people that do, they still struggle with body image, they still struggle with confidence. And then for the people who should have people that they look up to, maybe not giving them any of that, either being indifferent to them or actively hurting their confidence. Sometimes even when you have those positive forces in your life, you still don't accept it in a way that would help boost your confidence. You're like, she loves me, but that's like my mom. She biased. And I know for me, I spent a ton of time trying to work on myself in different ways. Some things that I actually needed, some things that built me up, and some things that were maybe a little bit unnecessary, I really struggled to look at myself in any positive way until I got really fit. Like in my head, really, really fit. I should look like I saw other guys and I thought I should look like that. I should look like a version of that, at least, And never mind that I'm looking at dudes who have been on their own journey or struggle with their own confidence, or maybe get a little extra help to look the way that they look. I don't know. And I was never trying to be like insanely huge. I joke about being like ripped and real big, but honestly, I don't have the frame for it. Truly, I'm not tall enough to be wide. Yeah, no matter how big my shoulders got, I'd start to just be in the way. Like it looks good in the picture when you're flexing and you've got all the muscles and they're all defined and everything, but then practically in life, it does start to be a problem when you're trying to walk through a door. You don't want to be on a date and see a door and go, uh-oh. How do we handle this? You know, because the shoulders, the hips, they're all wide and muscular, but that door frame, oof, making all of them standard. I can't believe they're doing this. And then you're holding hands, you get to the door, and you're like, you first. You look like you being a gentleman, you know. Please go ahead. And then she walks through the door with ease, and you now have to figure something out. You're standing on the opposite side of the door, and you're like, oh, okay. As soon as you strained, you let her know this isn't going to be the life for her. I never wanted to be huge. I just wanted to be very, very fit, you know? And I worked on it with some success, with less success. But even when I started to work out, I realized that wasn't really the issue. Now I was going to the gym, and I was eating as much as possible, and I was gaining a little bit of weight. Not much. And I was like fighting to keep looking this certain way. And I finally accepted that, like, even if I got there, maybe I wouldn't be happy. And I even discovered that through other people who I knew were there. People who I wanted to look like that were in my life, you know? And they still had all the same problems I did. And I would go to the gym and I'd see people packed in there fighting to look a certain way so they could feel a certain way. And there is a bit of a cheat code. You could try to work on feeling the way without having to fully change your entire body. You know, you don't have to earn loving yourself through like straining and potentially hurting yourself, you know? Like there's some things that go would be lifted in therapy, you know? Like it's just and but I remember I would see these workouts, and sometimes you see people get creative. There are a couple machines that are pretty straightforward. You sit down, you want to row, you put your feet here, and you pull. And that's the exercise right here. This is just what you do, and you do it for your back. You know, you work a little biceps in there too, and maybe if you're trying to work more of the back, you can lean forward a little, lean back a little with the pull, you know. I saw a guy sit down like normal and then put his feet in. And I'm not gonna lie, I stopped. I was like, this is about to be awesome. And this man, I don't know what muscle it works out. It seems like it just ruins your joints, but he went, Just make sure it's clear. and it looked like it felt like it sounded. This man did 8 sets of 10. And I watched the whole thing. Oh, there was even a time where I went to the gym and, I was working out my legs differently. I was doing some lunges, I was doing some like split squats and everything. Not much weight, but just trying to make sure that I worked out my legs, because there are some people that in all that self-consciousness and all of that wanting to build up for yourself, your body and your image, they still only work on the glamour muscles. They forget the base. They forget their core sometimes, and they definitely forget their legs. And we've been told since we were children that the legs are important. We've been told in many different ways. We've been told by PE teachers. We've been told by coaches. We've been told by parents. We've been told by cartoons. There's an entire cartoon dedicated to people who skip leg day. Johnny Bravo was trying to warn us for our entire childhood how important leg day is. That's not a structure you want. You don't want to have more hair than... So I was working out my legs, and so I'm packed into this gym with a bunch of other people, which is, look, it's very frustrating because this gym was unfortunately affordable. So a lot of people were in there, and I was one of them. And I was hopeful, sometimes they sell memberships all year and they're counting on people not to go. The way the gym structures are built out, it's so that you get all of these people here, but they're signed up, they don't actually show up. And so a gym is able to run fairly efficiently as long as like 1/10 of the people who are members show up at a time. If everybody showed up that was a member of the gym, if everybody started to really decide to work on themselves, it would look a lot like TSA. Be very little movement. The only way to work out would be passing the weights, just you can have some. And while I was in the gym, packed in there with everybody else, there was a fire alarm that went off and some smoke that we saw. And, I didn't see any fire, but 2 out of 3 signs isn't bad. And so there were only 2 exits, which in retrospect was a horrible thing. Like you could only get out through the elevator, which you're not going to take during a fire, or the stairs. And so people started clamoring for the stairs. And this is where the real fitness test began. Because there were some people that were out in a flash, but then there were other people who had been working out. So they used all their fire running strength on the treadmill. So now they see that the fire alarm is going off and there's smoke, and they hop off the treadmill and they're like, oh no. And then there were other people, what I would assume people who were a bit out of their mind, that even treated the running out of the gym like a workout. There was one lady literally still looking at her watch going, And then there was me, who had been doing leg day. I tried to make my way out as fast as I could, but honestly, if I could brag on myself for a second, I had gone pretty hard. You know, I had a PR and everything, and a PR is what you don't want to have when it's time to run. Because I put the weight down, I saw everybody running out, and I made my way for the exit, and I could not stop jiggling. Like every... And yeah, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you have to evacuate for a fire, but nobody moves like there's a fire. Even as you're going downstairs to like get out of the building that has smoke in it that is like clearly, at least seemingly on fire, you still get people that do that thing that people do when they get to the top of the stairs, where now that they're clear, they just enjoy their day. If you've ever been in a walkway, there are people who can't wait. At the beginning of the stairs, they can't wait to get up there. And then as soon as they get up there, as soon as they are past the last step, they're like, oh, yes. As if there's not a ton of people behind them. And so I'm noticing as I'm shaking and jiggling down the steps, how slow people are going down the steps. And so people do start to scream like, hey, hurry, move it, you know, fire. And then we get outside, and it was next to the door. One of the reasons everybody was slowing up was that same lady was out front near the door, just like next to the door, just run, like you still got the rest of the world to run. What are you waiting for? If you're waiting for your gym buddy, you left him. You left him to die. It's funny because I was watching the news and I saw this, can't really call it a debate, it was more of a screaming match. But it was on CNN. And on CNN, okay. Found the one person that works at CNN, and that's... Man, I've never heard anybody clap for CNN like that. Yeah. Now, to be fair, though, look. To be fair, we don't know where our friend is from, and CNN abroad is actually substantially better. Like, when you watch CNN and you're in like France or something, it is actually like engaging programming. That we really are the only ones that do CNN the way we do CNN. I like, as an example, when you travel the world, McDonald's is still fast food. We're the only ones that made it poison. You know, every other country, they just say what happened on the news. They just tell you. They're like, oh yeah, no, then these people came, and then the other people came, and then the first people left, and the second group of people left. It's really mostly in the US where you watch news and it's like chaos in the streets. Like every news segment is cutting a promo for a horror movie. I was watching CNN and I saw where Jillian Michaels was on there in a debate that she seemed to have started, and they were talking about changes to the Smithsonian and how art and culture shifts between who has the power to dictate how the exhibits are written, who the exhibits are of, and everything. And Jillian Michaels was like, it's so unfair that slavery in this country only gets blamed on one race. Look, as outrageous as that is genuinely funny. Like, look, I'm not gonna tell anybody how to feel, but if you heard the words I said, that Jillian said, and you immediately got angry, I would ask you to take a step back. I'm not gonna tell you how to feel. You can be angry if you want to be angry, because it is a very short-sighted, ignorant thing to say, but that's precisely why it's so funny. It is absolutely hilarious. But the best way I can describe why this is funny is when I was a kid, I would I would be at home alone for about 3 hours. I would get off, from school. I would do practice, and then I would get home and be alone for about 3 hours, right? So for 3 hours, I was the only person in the house. And one day, I was just walking through the house. I was eating something. I think I was like eating some Easy Mac and walking, not paying attention where I was going. And I knocked over this vase. And it was a vase that my mom loved, right? And so it smashes on the ground. And I genuinely didn't know what to do, because I was like, man, I'm going to be in a huge amount of trouble. I need to think of something. And in my head, I was like, what should I do? Should I call my mom now and be like, hey, when you get home, you will want to beat me. But I feel like if I tell you now and you're going to be like on shift for another half hour, and then just the concern, because I never call you, I'm hoping the concern that you have that I am calling you you'll be so relieved that I'm alive, that I'm not dead, you'll want to kill me less. You know, because having that coworker be like, it's your son, you know what I mean? And then have you be like, oh, what, my baby? And then I tell you what I'm about to tell you, and then you're like, oh, I'm just so glad you're still with us that I would hate to make it so you were not, right? That was one thought. Then the other thought was, look, I've given this whole having a family thing a good run. Maybe I dip right now. Maybe I leave home right now. And then the third thing, which is what I did do, was nothing. I went to my room and played some video games for what felt like might be the last time in a long time. And then my mom got home. I remember all the noises of her getting home. I remember the like screen door, and then the lock, and then the lock turning, and then the deadbolt turning, and then her walking in, the screen door shutting behind her, her shutting the door, her locking the door, and the deadbolt. Again, every footstep from the front door to the kitchen, because she missed it at first. And then every footstep after the kitchen back into the living room, where I heard my name. And not my name the way you know it, my full legal name. You know what they put on your death certificate or before a parent kills you? My full legal name. And then I walk in, and my mom is like, what happened? What is this? And then I said, oh, you just gonna blame it on me? Wow. Wow. Maybe I was in there playing video games the entire time. Maybe somebody broke it, and left. Maybe I'm lucky to be alive right now. You're just gonna immediately blame me because I was the only one here. You're just gonna blame me because it looks like it was me. And that's kind of what Jillian Michaels was doing with the whole, like... Yeah, that's kind of what she was doing. Can't believe you would just blame it on one race of people. And it's so funny too, because when it comes to history like that, there are always these bad actors that try to pull the thinnest straw man out of the woodwork. You know, there'll always be that person. There was a guy. I don't actually remember his name, and this is before slavery in the U.S. was more based on race and before more people were shipped to the U.S. There was a dude that I've read about that apparently was of African descent, and he came over and he had about 2 or 3 slaves, and one of those slaves was seemingly of the Caucasian persuasion. And whether this thing is true or a myth, I've heard it my entire life when referencing slavery, that there was one black guy who had a white slave. And I'm like, look, even if that's true, that's not what it's known for. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're just picking and choosing how you present an entire idea. And it makes sense to me that someone like Jillian Michaels would say something like this. She is from a reality TV show. She's known for the show The Biggest Loser. Yeah, that's who she is, that coach from The Biggest Loser. You know, the nice one. The Biggest Loser was a show, I don't think it's still on the air anymore, so if you're not familiar with the show, it was a show where they would bring on people who were overweight, struggling with image and everything, and they would help them lose weight by making them do slavery. I get hyped for the 4th of July ahead of time, really far out, you know? Get great barbecue, you know? It's the country's birthday and everything, you know? It's the only time as a guy you can look up at the sky and be like, ooh, sparkly, yes. You still have to hide it behind machismo, like, yeah, it's sparkly, but it's blowing up, all right? Anybody can get it, shots fired, okay? You know, 4th of July is just a straight pride parade. That's all it's ever been, you know? It's just the one time a year guys get to be like, yeah! It's basically, don't act like it's not drag just because you put on a longer beard. Like, you dancing in the street too, you know? That's why I'm always blown away by people who complain about pride, and they're like, there's no straight pride parade. I'm like, yours is coming up in a month. Like, you can't give it 30 days. Even when you think about it too, you think about the way that the country came together too. We think of the founding fathers as all these old wise men and everything, because that's when they got painted. You know, they got painted late. They had already survived the war by the time we painted them. When they were in the war, they were much younger. We got the pains when they were like 40. But they fought in the war. You think they were fighting in the war old? You know what I mean? Like, yo, you think Washington was in the war like, get 'em, boys? No, y'all shoot. Oh. No, these were young men. Young men battling to create a country, you know? And it's mind-blowing how young they were when we won. You know, July 4th of 1776, Alexander Hamilton was in his 20s, early 20s. So was Aaron Burr. You know, some of the oldest people, I think even Washington was like only 40 or something. And that's just, it should be a testament to the fact that sometimes, you know, as much as young people don't always know the way, they have the energy to go the furthest, you know? So sometimes it's important to like let young people lead and old people guide, you know? I think that's how you you know, because there's someone that has all the passion, all the fire in their heart to do something, to like try to build a better world, and then there's someone behind them that doesn't have as much of the fire anymore, but is like, don't trip over that rock. Just go a little bit more left and you'll be fine. Don't do what I did. That's how I messed up my knee, though. No. Founding fathers they're fascinating to me because, you know, they were trying to carve out an ideal into making it, you know, making it substantial, making it real, making it a country and everything. But there were still some pretty deep. I don't know. It's a hard thing to write down. You know, all men are created equal, and then look over and be like, yeah, except. Yeah, I mean. So it's a dream that took time, still takes time, still hasn't been fully realized in the way that it's at least on the paper. You know, like sometimes people have this revisionist history about the founding fathers, like they would have wanted the best for everyone and for all of us to get along. And I'm like, no, they said what they meant. They, do you know what I mean? Like, the founding fathers didn't have slaves, but also be like, one day someone will right this wrong. You know? But I think about how even, you know, people know more about Alexander Hamilton now because of the musical and stuff. But Hamilton, you know, was staunchly against slavery and everything, and he was young, so I'm sure he was like this young kid that people looked at like, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. He just talks a lot, you know? And it's funny how we know about Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr's feud mostly because of the musical, but we don't know how petty it got. Alexander Hamilton built a home in New York City, right? And Aaron Burr used his money to build a home down the street because he was jealous of where Alexander's home was. So he built the house pretty close by so that I guess Hamilton could see him hating from down the street. Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr were the original Kendrick and Drake. Amazing. I also get excited for the summer. I get excited for July because it usually means, at least for some years, that Will Smith has a new movie out. And it's happened. Bad Boys is out. It's crushing the box office, you know. Will Smith slapped all the money out of Hollywood. Man, I want them to make as many Bad Boys movies as possible. I want to see these men old. I want there to be so many Bad Boys movies that after a while you're like, boys? I want them to make so many they gotta change it to bad unks, you know? As I'm getting older, I realize this year that all of my close friends are either in or closely approaching their 30s. And it's so funny because, you know, everybody 30 and up, when people turn 30 now, they call themselves old, which is insane to me. That's so, like, medicine is getting good enough where you can kind of expect to live to 90, but you're old at 30. Why would you be old most of the time? That doesn't make any sense at all. You don't bring home bread and then the next day go, it's pretty old. No. But I get how people feel that way. I really do. Because what's happening is we know deep down, right? We have this obsession with youth. And we, you know, everyone's trying to look young, be young, stay young, feel young, all this stuff like that. And it's mainly because, and I've said this before, it's mainly because we know how we treat older people. So we're more scared of that than we are getting old. What's wrong with getting older? You know more stuff. Why would that be bad, you know? But I get how people feel old at a certain time, because especially people who are in their 30s now, we're in a very specific time that hasn't happened, at least the way that it's happening to us, right? Because we were like coming of age at a time that was like a turning point for what feels like almost everything, right? Business gets done differently now, tech is different, every aspect of life is different, and we remember right before and as it turned and now. You know what I mean? Like if you're in your like 30s, you're like 33 and up, you remember before Google. That sounds ancient. That's... Just to say before Google sounds like another century, because it was. I work with people that are younger than me. I was explaining to someone, and I hate when I have to explain a thing that makes me sound older than I am, because they're a little younger. So then I had to explain before Google to them. And I sounded crazy. I sounded crazy to me, but I was there, so I know I'm not wrong. I sounded insane. I was like, no, because before Google, you had to just know. And if you didn't know, you had to ask somebody who you hope knew and was friendly, and if they didn't know, you had to go online. We still had online. Don't do that. We still had online. So then you had to go online and you had to ask Jeeves, and then they were like, "What is Ask Jeeves? Like, what is?" And I was like, "Ask Jeeves is. It's like if Google was white. Like it's." And so you had to ask Jeeves, and if Jeeves didn't know, then you had to go to the library, and you had to ask a librarian. And if the librarian didn't know, they would give you a number with dots. They would give you, a library is like a house for books. They would give you a number with dots, and then you would go trace the dots and the number to a book, and then you would read the book to see if the answer to your question was in there, and if it wasn't, you would just know a bunch of different stuff. You would know. A book is like a slow Kindle. It's like. Like you scroll with your finger, but it turns like there's something to turn with your finger. It's not, there's no screen. And then If your question, what you've been looking for 6 months, yes, it takes a long time. So maybe cut your dad some slack, right? It used to be harder to know. Do you know how crazy you sound saying it used to be harder to know? That's not how I wanted to end it. I know I'm getting older because I'm getting genuinely more and more nostalgic for small things. Like not movies, not like like really small things about life. Like I miss growing up in the 90s. I think all of our appliances in the 90s were just better. They were just like top notch because not only did they last longer and they worked, but you could fix anything in your house by hitting it. Violence solves so much in the home. Growing up, all you need was some fists and some belief. And you could fix a whole house. Don't need to call a contractor or anything. Like if you had just any appliance, you know? And what was special about it was that you knew how to hit it. You knew how to hit yours. That's very important. It wasn't just you could go hitting stuff, but you got to know your machine and you knew how to hit it specifically to get it to work. And it wouldn't work when you went over to your friend's house. You go over to your friend's house and their thing wouldn't be working and you'd be like, and they'd be like, no, you gotta go. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that. I don't have that model. That's good to know. So when I upgrade, it's 2. Okay, that's good to know. And it's 2 towards the front. All right, that's good to know. It was a beautiful time. I just felt like things really worked. You know? Like a 90s washing machine. A 90s washing machine you could hear it all through if you were lucky enough to have a washing machine in your home, if you had a laundry room in your home, you could hear, no matter where you were in the house, because the washing machine would be whooping your clothes. No matter where you were in the house, as soon as you started you would hold off watching a movie. Because you're like, we can't watch a movie and do the laundry. That's not... It's gonna mess up the experience, all right? It would be whooping the state. You could hear your clothes getting beat. And they were all loud and they all just, like the washing machine moved like it had legs. No matter where you were in the house, you could hear your clothes screaming in the machine just, oh! And you would go, whether it was your house or somebody else's house, you could go to somebody's house, you could tell how strong their washing machine was by how messed up the paint was on the wall. On that edge that was next to the machine. It would be beating your clothes, beating the stains out, horrific stuff, right? To the point where you could, even when you stained the shirt, you could tell, even back in the 90s, your shirts would be like, don't do that to me, bro. No, come on. Hey, no, we good? I'll push it out. I'll push the stain out. Don't send me in there with them. No, be amazing. And then if there was a little malfunction, if the door wouldn't lock and lips started coming up and everything, you know, suds started spitting out everything, just took a little like, bam. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh. It was beautiful, you know? These new washing machines. I know I already sound like an old man, but like this. I was at an Airbnb. They had a washing machine in the Airbnb, which at first I was very excited about. I was like, oh, it's amazing. You never get this, right? And the washing machine was state of the art, and it was like a Tesla washing machine. It had so many buttons. It had a keyboard's worth of buttons. It had more buttons than I cared to read. Like it was. I just wanted to hit clean. Like it had a handkerchief setting. Insanity. And then you put the clothes, got a stain on the shirt, put the clothes in, and then, you know, you hit whatever, turn. There was a lot to do. And then you hit, and it starts, and you can tell something is happening because it's spinning, and you can see through it now. You know, it has the little door where you can look in, and it's spinning so fast that the clothes are gone. Like, it's... I was looking, and I was like, I can't tell if it's spinning or if it left. This is crazy, but it was silent, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that it was quiet the entire time, right? Just... But nothing. You couldn't hear anything, right? I didn't even know when the clothes were done. That would have never happened in the 90s. You always knew when your clothes were done because your washing machine would finish beating your clothes. And you would hear, because they used to put alarm clock stuff in the washing machine to make sure they made the same noise. This thing finished, I had no idea. It finished and it was like, hey. I don't want to disturb you, but I think I did it. And then I pulled the shirt out of the washing machine. The stain was so intact. The stain was sitting there comfortably. The stain was looking at me like it had its legs crossed. Like, looking at me like, your move. Even TVs. I remember we got like a big screen TV and it was a huge deal, but the TV was like, if I remember correctly, it was kind of like a hand-me-down because we got the TV because it wasn't really working as much anymore. So the people that were throwing out the TV were like, we're going to get a new TV. And we were like, we don't have a TV, so let's take yours, right? And it was huge. It took up like most of the, remember the big 90s, tall, wide. Remember when TVs had ass? Do you know what I mean? Like really had it, like some true thickums. You know what I mean? Like, you would go over to your friend's house, they'd be like, I got a new TV. You'd be like, ooh, she packing. Oh, wow. I don't even understand. I don't even know why they made them like that. But it had like, it would be the screen here, but then just boom, boom. And that was great because even though the TV didn't always work, you know, you knew how to work it, right? Because it would do that thing where all those TVs back then, when they didn't work, they would just get wavy. You remember that? It would be like, I'd put on the news and it would just be like red, blue, green, red, magenta, yellow. And you turn on the news and be like, at 8 o'clock. Because I was little when we got this TV, and I remember turning it on and it wasn't working. I was like, Mama, the TV ate a popsicle. And my dad would usually be the one to hit the TV because he knew how to do it, right? But my dad hit the he hit the TV a lot. My dad hit the TV so much, sometimes I was wondering if it was really about the TV. You know what I mean? Sometimes my dad would hit TV, I'm like, no, it was working. That's how But my dad hit the TV so much that I think the TV genuinely learned to recognize, hey! One time I was trying to watch the news and my dad came home. That's all he did. He just came into the house and the TV was like, 8 o'clock. As soon as he closed the door, it was like 2 people were murdered. And then I got a TV. I bought a TV for myself as an adult because I wanted to have my own big screen TV. I wanted to have my own, like, oh, I'm sitting at home chilling for the weekend, watching a movie, have a real experience for myself, right? And I bought it. It was too expensive. I took out a car note on this TV, this several payment TV, and we bring it home. I'm excited initially. I'm super excited because, they bring it home and they install it, they mount it on the wall and everything. Smart TV, brilliant TV. Good grades TV, right? But I'm trying to watch this TV and I want to be, I'm not like a dumb person, but like I cannot figure out how to get the subtitles off this TV, and it's like, I can't stress how much this is not my fault, all right? I'm not like a dumb, like I know I'm up here doing the jokes so we're all having a good, but I'm not a dumb guy. Like this is crazy, all right? And I want to be clear, I know that it's not the HBO subtitles at all, because then I go to the settings at HBO and HBO is like, it's not us. We're not the one to do it, but I'm trying to watch Dune 2, right? Try to watch Dune 2 on this big screen TV. I turn on HBO, I'm watching, and it gets to that part where like Timothy Chalamet doing that like Fremen language, so he's like, da da da, you know what I mean? Like whatever they say. And so then in the movie, they have subtitles for that part, because nobody knows what they say, right? So then the movie, those subtitles come up, but then on top of those subtitles are these like nasty gray italic subtitles coming up, and I'm like, who is typing? That's not what I wanted at all, and I can't get it off, and it's great, and it was everything I watched. I would leave HBO, I could watch something somewhere else, and they were like, and that's not even as bad as when I first got it, because when I first got it, when I first brought the TV home, it had, I don't know how it happened, it had the audio description on. All right. Now, if you, some of you are familiar. So, if you don't know what audio description is, it's basically if you're watching it and you're visually impaired, it will give you both context for what is happening in the show and things that are more like stage direction. They're just happening silently, right? So then I don't know that that's on. I don't know. I didn't press anything. I just turned on TV. I hit on the TV. That's all I did. And so then I went to watch Law and Order SVU. All right. So now I'm watching Law and Order, and Olivia is like handing somebody their ass, right? Like she's just like, you don't know anything about Survivor, you don't know anything. And then she walks out of the room, and then as she walks out of the room, my TV is like, Olivia leaves the room, and I'm like, who is that? Who is that? Who is in here? And I went to the settings. I went to Peacock. I went into the settings, and the Peacock settings were like, it's not us. We're not doing that. I've used remotes all my life. I've all the time used the remote, and I pressed the remote was not remoting. Finally, it was off. I don't even know what I did. Maybe I didn't do anything. Maybe the TV just decided to stop doing it. I have no idea. But I was watching a different episode, and Olivia was once again handing somebody their ass. You don't know anything about Survivor. You don't know anything. And then she left the room, and I was like, because what can you do with this TV? What can I do when I can't get the subtitles on? You can't hit it. You can't hit it. I took out a mortgage on this TV. You cannot hit it. You used to be able, when the old TV, when I was little, I would play Sega Genesis connected to the back of the TV, right? And then sometimes Sega would be glitching up, which, translated for kids means the game was cheating, right? So then the game would be cheating, and so then I would get mad, and I would stand up, like 10 years old, I'd stand up, and I'd punch the TV in its face. I would I'd punch the TV as hard as I could in what I thought was the nose, right? Like I would just, and I don't know what the TV was made of, but I would punch the TV and I would pull back the most mangled hand. Cause I don't know what it was made of, but it wasn't glass. There's no way it was glass. It had to be like clear steel or something. Cause the hand that I was pulling back, all my fingers had switched up and stuff. My thumb was in the middle. And now you can't punch a TV at all. You can't even dust this TV. You just gotta bargain with it. You used to be able to hit everything. The only thing you didn't hit back in the day was the microwave. And I feel like you didn't hit the microwave because then and now, we don't really understand how the microwave works. Yeah, I mean, that's still, that, I can always describe a microwave. If someone had never met a microwave before and they were trying to ask me what a microwave was, I'd be like, it is hot magic. Yeah, I mean, they put some hellfire to good use and just, it gets the soups hot when you put it in there. My grandma, when I was little, she had what I imagined was the second microwave ever made. Like, it was one of the oldest microwaves I've ever seen, and it didn't make any sense. We would try to get her to get rid of it all the time because it was so old that the door handle for the microwave looked like a door. Like, it just... And then the buttons, she had it for so long. This had to have been, maybe it was the first microwave. She had it for so long that all the buttons had faded. So you don't know what you're pressing. I don't know what's potato and what's two. Like, every time you put something in this microwave, it's a gamble, right? You don't know if you're hitting defrost, if you're hitting 9 or whatever. And so there was one time that everybody was cooking in the kitchen, but I wanted to make some easy mac in a little cup, so I flipped it open, put the water in, tried to put it in the microwave. It was like dun 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 dun, because I just had to go by feeling, because all the buttons were like outies. Does that makes like all the buttons were poking out like. Go ahead, press me. Go ahead. Press me. I don't know what's gonna happen either. Press me. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. I remember I pressed the buttons and put the easy mac, but there's so many people in the kitchen. I'm getting pressed up against the microwave, and I didn't hit it. I just was pressed up against it, and my whole face started to get hot. And I was like, y'all, this is leaking. I don't know. It is leaking magic in the kitchen. We need to evacuate. Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm good. I've had to go to the doctor a ton recently. Like a
ton?
Yeah, like a lot.
Is it still for your injured booby?
It's been my chest. It's been a couple of things, and it just has reminded me about other times and made me think about other times I've been to the doctor.
Oh God, we've never really talked about this, and I'm sure you have experiences that are going to baffle me.
Yeah, but these like won't be my fault though. These are because I show up in a doctor's office to be doctored. Like I don't.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have any control over what happens
One doctor,
next.
Please.
Yeah. So I was even telling some friends today about how at my old doctor's office. This place was not good. Okay. So the doctor was good. I had a good doctor. I'm not going to sit here and act like I am a good doctor. The staff at the office made it feel like by the time he got to me, I wasn't at the doctor. Does that make sense? Like
you're more at a DMV than a doctor's office.
So this doctor's office that I went to, okay. So when I was in Chicago, right? I'd go to the doctor a couple times. One time I had strep throat. Like it would be stuff that was like not too serious, but still you should go to the doctor, right?
You gotta get some meds. Strep throat, you'll live. You need some antibiotics.
Yeah. And so I remember, I was like insanely sick with strep. That was the worst strep I've ever had.
And luckily, my mom also came to Chicago at the time and was like nursing me back to health.
Aw.
But when I went to the doctor, okay, first of all, I get there because I don't know how to pick a doctor. I'm not out here like knowing what doctor's good or if. And then it was at a time where I had good insurance but not great insurance. So then my insurance didn't cover a bunch of people, and it was just it was wild. So I find a doctor that's like within my network or whatever is going to be pretty cheap with the copay. Mm-hmm. I roll up to that doctor, and first of all, from the outside, the place did not scream health. Like, there's just something about when the bricks coming off the brick building.
Yeah.
Like when the bricks are chipped hard, it looked like somebody had been carving the bricks. So then I remember
Someone's
walking
been trying
in.
to get into this hospital.
Yeah, I remember walking in and being like, I'm clearly in the wrong office, but I'll at least ask them where the office is, right? Mm-hmm. And the first question I was asked when I stepped inside and stood at the receptionist's desk was, what?
I don't know. That would also make me kind of feel like this is maybe a really good doctor's office.
Nah, not at all. So then she said, what? And I was like, oh, I'm here for my appointment, right?
Yeah.
And then she says, what appointment? As if no one has an appointment today. Like,
Right. As if that's not a thing they do there.
yeah.
That's not a service they provide at this specific
I'm not
doctor's
even-
office. No appointments.
I'm not even
Walk-ins
fully
only.
clocking right now that she's being rude. Like, it's not even occurring to me that this person is being insanely rude. Because right now, all that's actually in my head is like, I feel terrible.
Right.
I just want to be seen by somebody that can help me, right? So I'm not even giving any attitude back. I'm genuinely just like, she says, what appointment? And I go, the one at 9:45. like it's not registering with me that she's like attacking me. Yeah, you know what I mean, like she, because the what and the what appointment were not friendly.
Yeah.
And so she's like, what appointment? I was like, the one at 9:45. And then she stares at me for a second, and then she just goes, okay.
I don't know. I kind of love her. She's kind of my favorite.
And so then I'm standing there. I'm like, so am I supposed to fill anything out? Or like, she said, yes. It was like, this is insane. Dude, this is a horrible experience. I hope she's never at anybody's deathbed, because that would be truly tragic. Am I dying? Yes.
And then you bring the filled form back up, and she's like, "You're still here?
Yeah.
What?
I gave you that to get rid of you." And so she gives me the forms. I sit down. I'm filling out the forms.
Oh, yeah.
There's no one else. Like, okay, I genuinely feel like I'm the first person at this doctor. Like, I feel like this is his first day of being a doctor. This is first day with the office. Like, the team's all here for this day, right? And and so I fill out the papers, and I fill out the papers, I give them back, and then she's like, you can sit back down because it's going to be a while. And not even in a way.
You meant 9:45 today?
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel terrible, but I still haven't fully clocked it of like just how terrible this person's being. And so then
Because you just want to die.
I feel horrible,
So
man.
anyone can say anything to you in that state.
Dude,
And
I'm
you
like,
won't catch it till maybe a week later.
I clearly didn't catch it until 7 years later because we're just now talking about it. When you're sick enough, things don't register like that for you. So then,
no, not at all.
So then she tells me it's going to be a while, and I just, out of like desperation, I just ask her like, oh, because it's like 10 now, because it took me a while to get the forms. Like, she gave me the forms after a couple minutes. Then it took me some time to fill them out. So I was like, it's 10. And then she was like, I don't know what you want me to do about that.
Yeah.
I was like, jeez. Okay. All right. And then she tells me, she just offers it up as extra information. The doctor not here yet. And so I just go sit down, and I've got my hands.
He got a red eye back from Vegas. He's not here yet.
Dude, I have my hands in my head because I'm genuinely, like, I'm really scared I'm gonna die, right?
Well, because you probably got a fever. If you got strep, usually that comes with it. So you're probably just sitting there, probably looking like you're dying.
Dude,
and this is still the attitude that she's giving you.
I am like, I look like I make juice right out of my own skin. I'm sweating so much. It's like that is a
sentence
wet.
I don't know what to do with. I don't know what to do with the sentence. I look like I make juice.
I look like I make juice out of my own sweat, and it is ripe season. Okay, dude, I'm pouring sweat. I've never been wetter in my life, right? Like,
you got streams shooting off you like a character crying in an anime.
You could slide me up and down a sidewalk. I have so much sweat. And so I'm just sitting there feeling like horrible. I've got my head in my hands. I'm like kind of ready to cry, but I'm not there, right? And then this guy busts through the doors, like just bust in.
Yeah.
This dude busts in, runs past reception, everything, and it was like startling the way that he ran in. And in my head, I was like, I kind of hope that's not the doctor, because he also had a trench coat on, and the trench coat what's the difference between a trench coat and a duster?
I guess I'm not entirely sure. That's a good question.
Okay, basically, whatever he had made it look like he had a whole coat behind him that was when he was running. So it basically just looked like he had a cape. But this dude busts through the doors, runs to the back of the office, and so I'm sitting there for had to be like 10 more minutes. And then another nurse comes in, right? Into the waiting room, and she's like, the doctor will see you now. And I go with her. She's like, come with me. And I go to the room. There's no doctor in the room, right?
Right.
It's just, I understand the lingo, though, of like, the doctor will see you now, see you soon sort of thing. But then my tech that's like doing all of the vitals and like checks the blood pressure, everything.
Right.
This dude is sick. This dude is sick. All right. I'm feeling terrible. This dude is dying. All right. This man's sick. Because then I get in there, right? And so my man is like sitting there typing. Okay. And he's typing at the keyboard, just like typing away, which anytime they're not asking me anything and I gave them the form and they're still typing, I don't know what that could be for, because this is my first time at this doctor. So maybe he's starting a file for me, whatever, right? But as he's typing, every time he talks, this man can't stop coughing, right?
Oh, God.
And this dude coughing hard, like he coughing from the bottom of his belly, okay?
From the diaphragm.
This dude,
he has theater training.
This dude is coughing, okay? So he's asking me like questions I've already filled out on the form.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to not get upset, because sometimes that happens and it's so aggravating, because why did I fill out this form for like 7 pages of this thing as a new patient? And so, he's asking me my birth date again, stuff like that. And some of it he's just confirming. So he must be typing it in.
Right.
And so he's like birthday 3-6. Oh! Like the coughs are so long. This dude coughing forever. And then and to the point where I ask him, I'm like, hey, are you all right?
Do you need me to get you something?
Yeah, like are you okay? Because I understand there must be such a dilemma with calling in sick when you work at a doctor's office.
When you work at sick?
Yeah,
When
you work
when you're
at
just-
sick and you're like,
work at sick.
I'm too sick to be at sick today.
Oh, really? Oh, did you get sick from working where the sick lives? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, sure. Take the day.
So then I can understand my man's inclination to have to come in
Right. Yeah.
because it's like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so he's coughing hard. And like it honestly, the first time I ever thought about droplets was not COVID. The first time I thought about droplets was this moment. Because this man just infected the whole keyboard that he's on. Because he's coughing so quickly, he's not covering his mouth. Okay. So my man is just like,
Good. That's a quality you want in a healthcare provider.
he's like, so your weight is 100 and
Oh no, God, just take me.
like the coughs are punches to his stomach. That's what it sounds like. And then he finally has one coughing fit that lasts for a while. like it was to the point where I was like, do I really need to be in here for this? Because he turned his head to cough and did not stop coughing for what it had to be like 2 full minutes. And 2 minutes is not a long time, but when you're coughing, like I thought this dude was dying in front of me.
If it's coughing, 2 minutes is a day.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time. That's a long time to have no control of your body.
And so then this dude rolls up way too close to me and is like, let me get your blood pressure.
Good Lord.
I was like, all right, like I'm reluctantly putting my arm out, right?
You're trying to lean away as far as you can.
Yeah. I'm like leaning away from him as he's like, and this is the worst part. This is like, clearly they don't have all the resources because you know how there's even those cuff machines at like Walgreens, or at least there used to be those cuff machines, check your blood pressure.
Right.
This dude this is an old school from the 1800s. Like he put a stethoscope on my pulse and then just wrapped it real hard.
I thought maybe we'd have the thing around it and he has to like blow it up manually.
No. This dude wrapped it.
It's just a floaty.
Yeah, he put a wrap around my arm and wrapped it over and over again too. Like he get me ready for drugs. And then it's just listening. And then he got his watch and he's just like, oh, And then then this is the thing that I didn't like that they did. He goes, and like you can't have little noises like that.
No, especially that. It sounded like he was asking a question to your pulse.
Yeah, like he
what's that?
seems like he's about to guess what my blood pressure is. You can't finish blood pressure with that's an acquisitive.
I mean, something's pumping. So
Yeah. I heard something
good
in
for
there.
you.
So I already did
something.
like the nonverbal that he did.
And then, oh God, something lives in your arm.
And then this dude, and this is the wild thing as well. He started to do some stuff that just seems like the doctor should be doing it, right? So sometimes I don't know what the official name is. If it's a tech, I think it's a tech that can take the blood pressure and like fill out the form to get ready for the doctor and stuff. So the doctor
I think
can
it depends. There's techs, there's physicians, assistants. I'm not really.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this dude was. Listen,
I live with a nurse, and she's explained these things to me. I don't remember. I don't remember whose job is what. So
yeah. Okay, so then
all I know is everything she tells me about her day sounds gross.
So then this dude and this is ever since I was little, the doctor did this, but hey, it's this doctor's office. I guess he can rule it how he wants.
Right, yeah.
But then this guy, after he gets done with my blood pressure, grabs a popsicle stick and it's like, say ah. And I'm like, this man gonna cough in my mouth. Like I'm not doing it. Like, y'all go ahead and kill me. Cause clearly you gonna get me one way or the other. Like,
yeah.
Like this dude literally said, say ah. And so I'm like, I'm good. Let me just, I'll wait. I literally told him, I was like, I'll wait. And he's like, what?
Nah,
I was like, no, I'll wait.
I'll get you next week with the ah.
Yeah, I'll wait for the next. I'll wait for the other dude to come through and I'll do the ah for him.
I'll literally do it for anyone else.
Yeah, I don't just ah for anybody. All right?
Go get another person in the waiting room. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just, I know you. I'm not going to do it for you.
And so then he's like, oh, okay. Like he's clearly like this has never happened to me before, sort of thing. Like he just like shakes off and he's like, well, can I take your temperature at least? I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then takes my temperature. Clearly I have a fever because I look like fever. Like there's no way I didn't have a fever. If I didn't have a fever, I'd be like, oh, okay, well then I am Aquaman, because no one that doesn't have a fever and a t-shirt on should be sweating this much.
Right, yeah.
It was the first time I've ever sweat like from my forearm.
Oh, yeah.
Like I didn't have sweat running down my arm. I was sweating out of each piece of arm.
It's like remember in the first X-Men movie when that one senator just like dissolves into water?
Yeah.
That's what's happening to you.
And so
how's that for a fucking reference, huh?
I get my temperature taken. Of course, I have a fever, but apparently my fever, I don't remember what it was, but apparently it was so high that he took it out. Because also as well as old school thermometers as well. So okay. So then my man takes it out, looks at it, and goes, uh-oh. And then just shakes it while he looking at me. After he said, uh-oh. Oh, you dead, all right?
What? I love that you found a doctor's office. Well, yeah, you found a doctor's office where not a single person who works there has bedside manner. Like not crazy. A single one. Usually maybe one or two, but the fact that every single person in that staff is like, fuck.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody on this staff is the doctor's cousin. Because no one should be hiring them. Okay.
Yeah.
These people, like it on a regular day, I think I would have walked out. Because on a regular day at reception, I would have been like, this is way too rude for me to not know you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even with this guy, I'm like, hey, I know I feel the thing you're saying, so you don't need to say it to me. You know what I mean? So this dude, and then he swayed the thermometer. Look, this is the thing that, just for comedy, this is the thing that killed me that he did, that he doesn't even realize is as funny as it is.
Yeah.
He looked at it, said started to shake it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looked at it one more time and went, oof. This dude pulled it out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's just straight up comedy business right there. That's straight up.
Then he leaves, right? Doctor comes in. Doctor is like is
covered in blood.
It'd be so funny. Doctor, like I thought.
He runs an out of breath sleeve torn.
That doctor, like I thought, runs in, was the guy in the trench coat. Okay.
Right.
And then he immediately walks down and sits at his desk, which is where the tech was typed. Like in my head, I'm like, do I warn him that he about to get infected? Because like that dude coughed all over this stuff.
Yeah.
We start talking. And he's like, tell me how you're feeling, everything. And honestly, the actual doctor was like a good doctor. Like
Oh,
like
good.
like legitimately, he's like a good. We talked it out. He told me some of the things it could be. He prescribed some antibiotics and like gave.
Well, good.
He was a good doctor.
He's clearly a good guy because he gave his cousin Dave a job after the auto body shop closed. So
Yeah. And it's as I'm walking out that I go back to the reception desk. I'm like, so how to? Because also you have to remember, I'm in Chicago. I'm very young at the time, and I've only been to the doctor a couple times without my parents. You know,
right?
Like I don't think. In all the time I was in college, I went to the college nurse a couple times. But I don't think I ever went to a doctor the entire 4 years that I was in college. I could be wrong, but I don't remember going to a doctor. So outside of being in high school and being like at the doctor with my mom when my mom would set my checkup, and then being in college where you could go to the college nurse.
Right.
But like I would also, you're so young when you're in college too, you just let stuff roll off of you.
Yeah. Or, into your 30s too.
Sure. And
I've been to the doctor probably a shockingly low number of times.
Yeah, like I realized in that moment as I'm walking out that this is like, because basically the doctor was like, she'll sort you out at reception when it comes to the prescription and all stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like where to pick it up, I mean. So then I get up to the front desk and I'm realizing that this is one of, if not the first times that I'm settling all this on my own at the tail end of it,
Yeah.
And so I walk up and I think I have my insurance card with me. I was like super prepared because I just didn't know what would happen if you weren't. Like I didn't know if they would like, like
you
when
brought your passport.
like like when you can't, that old trope from sitcoms where you can't pay for dinner, so they make you wash dishes in the back.
Yeah.
A part of me was like, if you don't have your insurance card, maybe they just take the health back that they gave you.
Maybe that's how those people ended up working there.
Yeah, they didn't bring their insurance card.
They had no interest in going into medicine.
Hey, we're going to need you to check some tongues if you don't have your money, all right?
Yeah, he had come in that morning because he was very sick but couldn't pay his bill.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, you're handling the next guy then.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And so then I'm going up to the desk again, and the woman... the woman is not happy to see me. I just look like I got a question, She's immediately upset.
Here you come with your face again.
Mm-hmm. And so basically I walk up and I'm like, so is there like what do I owe you, sort of thing. I'm trying to be like jolly about it still, because I find that even with rude people, you win them over eventually if you just don't break.
Yeah. If you stand firm in being cordial.
Yeah. Eventually
they'll soften at least.
Yeah, there's a tenseness that you can see lift off with a lot of people. That's not everybody. Some people are evil.
Some people are evil, and they won't necessarily be like nice, but they'll be less mad at you.
Yeah. And so then I asked, like, what do I owe you? And she was like, I don't know. And now that I'm not dying, now that I know that, okay, this is strep and like I'm gonna get antibiotics, and I've had strep before, so I'll feel better all because of all that stuff. Now I like, as far as a mood, I really can't be touched now, because like now I don't have the desperation of thinking I'm dying, but I also don't have the I guess like the fear enough to be distracted.
Yeah, and so you dodged your mouth getting coughed in, so you're feeling good. You're feeling like the day's coming up, Joshy.
I'm actually optimistic now. So now she really can't touch me. And I was like, oh, well, if you don't know, maybe it's all the house. Like just a little joke in there, right? And she was like, that's not how this works.
It gets to a point where you just want to be like, ma'am, what is your job here?
Yeah.
Why are you here at all?
Ma'am, you should just fight the next person you see, because it would be way quicker than what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Everyone would know the deal at least.
Yeah. So then
how do I sign in? Well, first you got to go fight that lady, and then someone will come get you.
So then she looks up the closest pharmacy next to me, make sure that that's where I can pick up my prescription. And she's like, we'll have to let you know about the bill and everything. You got to check with your insurance. This is like a thing that I found funny. I don't even know if they're like allowed to ask this, but this is like her last thing as I'm walking out, right? Like this is like her last jab, okay? Is like, I was telling her, oh, this is where I live, so this is the pharmacy closest to me and everything. She's like, okay, I'll send it there. And then I was like, so for the bill, and she's like, we're gonna have to check with your insurance, okay? Do you have good insurance? And then I said that I was like, oh, I don't know. And then she was like, well, if you don't know. I was like, okay, wow.
Was this like an ex-girlfriend of yours and you didn't recognize her? Like,
it was crazy, man. It was like
so mad at you.
It was one of those things where I was almost like, I hope she doesn't have the power, and I don't think she does, but I hope she doesn't have the power to poison my drugs. Like,
right.
But yeah, no, it was a busted. And then also the waiting room in this doctor's office had too many lights out. Like,
yeah.
Like when I sat down, I'm not saying I don't love fluorescent light, so I'm not even saying that there can't be a little mood lighting. I'm not saying that it has to be completely blasted with fluorescent bulbs. Yeah. All I am saying is that if you're going to have them, have all of them, just as an option.
Yeah.
Because there were some that were clearly out.
Right. Because there's having some lights turned off, but then there's noticing when lights don't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if no one's got the time to change a bulb.
Yeah.
They're going to be pretty willy-nilly with that needle.
Jeez.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, no, but it was terrible. Luckily, I healed up.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, the emotional scars never healed, but the strep went away.
Yeah, the strep went away.
But the receptionist left a mark on your insides.
I did actually forget about them for a long time, so I guess it did kind of heal. I forgot it happened, but yeah. No, I've been going to the doctor a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just over here doing my best, trying to stay healthy and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get into your medical history, but like how often you go into the doctor? You just there quite a bit?
I mean, I haven't even been keeping track, but I feel like at least I could be wrong about this because LA broke it up quite a bit. Because I didn't obviously go to the doctor when I was in LA.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But before I went to LA, and since I've been back from LA, which has not been long, I think I've been. It's starting to feel like once a week.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes it's a checkup on the last thing, and sometimes it's a different thing. Like, I mean, who knows? You might end up wanting to cut this, but I had to get a sonogram today.
Okay.
And so the sonogram was just to make absolutely positively sure that my balls are normal. All right. So just to make positive.
Let's get into this.
Well, basically, there's not very much to tell, but basically, when they were doing it, in my head, I was like, man, this is like the worst time to find out if something's wrong. Like literally your pants are down, you know?
You'd hope they'd let you Get yourself right before they drop the bomb.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I'm
they're just gonna look down at your balls and be like, yeah, those are busted.
I'm genuinely laying back, and the person who's operating the sonogram is like, I'm so tense because I'm trying to be still, because when I had to have my MRI, they were like really stressing, hey, you have to be completely still, or we have to restart. And I didn't know if the sonogram was the same. So I'm trying to like be so still that I'm tense in the face. Like I can feel my face tensing up because I'm like, don't move, you idiot. Like just be still.
Don't wiggle your balls.
And it's to the point where I'm like so tense that the person stops and they're like, are you okay? Like, are you all right? Because are you in pain? Because your whole face is clenched. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. I was just like trying to be still for you and everything. I'm trying to help you. And she was like, you don't have to be that still. Like it's fine. Like I moved the thing. So, then the first half of it, I'm just like, it's like for basically the first half of the entire thing, I was like rigid still, so just clenched up. And then I relaxed a bit. And I don't know if I guess they take pictures as they go.
Okay.
For the sonogram, because it seemed like there was typing while the tool was moving or whatever. And then I'm like so in my head the entire time. Because when I walked in, I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. But then when you're getting a test done, you start to think, what if something's wrong with me?
Absolutely. When a test is being done, you can convince yourself you have anything.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to find out, that's when. And so you're having the test done.
Yeah, I'm also just like, I'm once again getting really in my head, going every which way with it. It's to the point where genuinely I let my mind race enough through enough scenarios that in my head, as I'm laying there, I've already got my affairs in order. Like, I'm like thinking about my funeral, like just like, oh man, I think a lot of people wouldn't make it because like who does destination funerals,
Hey, I'd fly out, man.
But then also it's like
I am gonna say it's a show though. So, I mean, I'm gonna need you to put in the will that I do a eulogy so I can say it's work and I can write off the flight.
Yeah. But these are the things I was thinking about because in my head I was like, all right, look, I'm not actually from New York, so I don't think I want to be buried here. If I'm buried, then I don't think like I would maybe want Chicago, but I'd be taking up space, and there are people who were like born in Chicago. And I don't want to take that from them, but then it would have to be like a Louisiana funeral, which is then like who's gonna fly to my hometown where the airport is only taking in like 4 flights a day, and then you have to make at least one connection, if not 2, to get there, all for a funeral of a guy that was like nice, but like I don't know, and then.
Wow, really middling review for yourself there.
Well, no, I just mean like when you think of a big funeral, you have to have impacted lots of people's lives in a way that's
or just be from a big dumb Catholic family like me.
I guess so, but like
I'll pull in numbers.
You have to have impacted
for sure. Yeah.
So many people that you. What's the best way to put this? It's like, even if you impacted like 10,000 people, all 10,000 aren't coming, right? Because there's a flight involved and because of the day of the week. So I'm like, am I going to be that guy? Am I going to have a weekend funeral? Am I going to mess up people's weekend? Or should I just have a Monday funeral? Because this is the thing. If you have a Monday funeral, people already sad it's Monday.
Yeah.
So let's just get it and you in the same. But then I was like, I don't want to make a Monday worse. So what if I did a Tuesday? Because now, somebody had to go in Monday, but now they might get a whole day off coming to see me.
Right.
So I'm doing a last solid for the people that love me.
Yeah.
And honestly, by the time I'm like midways deep into this scenario of like what I'll do, and like I gotta make sure that everybody's taken care of and everything. By the time I do that stuff, the tech is once again like, are you in pain? Because you're making faces again. And I realized I was like making faces for every scenario of like, it can't be a like I'm like I'm squinting, like I can't get buried in Louisiana.
Hey man, you good? You look like you're planning your own funeral.
Yeah.
Everything good though? Your balls check out?
No, this is the worst part. So then after all that,
oh shit.
She gets done, and she's like, okay, like you just have to really check your nonverbals when you work in medicine, because I don't know if these okays are like what she's looking at on the screen or just her day because it's early. Like
that's it's her job too.
Yeah.
So if you're at your job, you're a little more like, okay, let's look. Yeah.
And so then I'm like, she's like, you're good to go. And I put my clothes back on and everything, and I was like, should I throw this? Because they give you a whole setup for it, and I was like, should I throw this away? And she's like, no, you're good to go, and then she goes and sits back down at the computer that she was on for the sonogram, and then she's like just typing away, and I grabbed the door handle, and as I'm about to walk out, I'm like, hey, I was just wondering, because I was here the whole time and everything, do I look like normal, or like is anything bad or anything? And she was like, I really can't comment. I'm not the radiologist. So.
Yeah.
And I was like, fair enough. So to answer your question, I still don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully this won't be some sad foreshadowing.
No. I think I'm all right. That would be wild to get a sorry about your balls, King. That would be chaos. That would be horrible.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
Oh man. You made me think of one thing though from doctor's office, because I was like, have I had anything weird happen at the doctor's? And just like little things, nothing too big. But there's one that I wasn't here for this, but it was about me weirdly. Mm-hmm. It was after, this is years ago, but I had done a show like in kind of the area of my hometown. A lot of people came out and whatever. And a friend had texted me, a former student actually had texted me and said that there was two old people talking about my show in the lobby, and just one of them just said, I'll never pay money to see him again. And I was like, damn, okay. What a brutal review from an old man waiting in a doctor's office. That's what's on his mind, is how little he liked my set.
That is truly wild.
Isn't that awful? Isn't that fucking awful?
That like that's one of those things that is actually like out of a sitcom. Because when you think about it, it would be like if for whatever reason your friend knew two grave diggers and they were digging graves on like a Monday, and they were talking about the show, and he was like, made me wish I was here. Like, just, it's one of those things where you're like, wait, why would they?
When he just texted me out of the blue, I'm like, thanks. Why would you tell me this?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, people truly have no idea what they should and shouldn't tell you sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like even when it comes to medical stuff, I've had people tell me way too much when I just ask them if they were okay. Like if I know someone went to the doctor and I ask them, are you all right and everything?
Right. Yeah.
I've had people tell me, like, they told me like I was their second opinion.
Yeah.
They went into so much depth that by the end I was like, I think sound like you have it. All right. Like I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a doctor, but you sat up here telling me all that stuff. So I would eat better.
Yeah. Like, I had a doctor start telling me what meds his wife was on. And I'm like, I don't feel like you should be telling me any of this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, people really let the doctor-patient privilege slip way more than attorney-client privilege.
Yeah. But especially, I don't know if it goes the other way, though. Like
what
him telling me a meds his wife's on, like, I'm not beholden to any doctor-patient confidentiality.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like lawyers are very aware at all times, like, oh, if I tell this person about this thing, I could lose my job. And I feel like even I have friends who became doctors, and they'll tell me stories where I'm like, oof, I don't know if I should know this part.
Yeah. That doctor did end up losing his license to prescribe medicine. So so that does all check out, I think.
My favorite. One second.
Oh, I think we froze for a second there.
Yeah.
I see it.
That was genuinely a computer thing because my entire computer freaked out. So that was not.
Oh, okay.
I think that was not just a connection thing.
Well, we've also been having connection lags because we actually had someone from like the internet company in the area show up the other day and just say that like some of the main lines, not even on our house, but some like the main like fiber wire or whatever has been partially eaten by squirrels. So
yeah,
Iowa internet, baby.
I hope they were electrocuted.
I hope so. Oh God.
One of my favorites was this doctor that my friend goes to that's ancient. Like this dude's been a doctor since like bloodletting. Like
he was a doctor so long ago he was also the barber.
Yeah. This dude was a doctor when they had those little crow's masks they would wear during the plague. This dude has he's his doctor, but he also has an arch nemesis.
Oh,
so you will go to your doctor. You will go to this guy who's your doctor, and he will be looking all up in your ear with the tool, right? With the light, looking at your ear, complaining about the doctor across the street.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like this. This I'm into.
But it goes so deep. Like every time he goes to him, he has a story, and every ailment triggers a memory about a time he was at odds with that doctor across the street.
Oh, I bet they opened up practice together and then had a big falling out.
It really does seem like some Aaron Burr, Alexander Hamilton type stuff where it's like, oh, he gonna shoot him.
Oh, I like that. I like rival anything across the street is always just very fun, no matter what, because it's always petty. It's always just so petty.
Yeah.
Any businesses that are across the streets and their rivals, but doctors is even better.
This dude
because
hates
they
him.
shouldn't be. It's like when you're trying to examine someone and be a I guess a comforting ear for any ailments. You can't be fired up and pissed off about the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. This dude, okay. So my buddy told me that there was this one time that he went to him just for like a general checkup, and he's like an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And I guess he's like a general practitioner. I have no idea. Like I don't actually understand medicine, so I'm not gonna label anything because I know that even your doctor that you go to for like everything that refers you to the other doctors will still check your ear, nose, and throat. So maybe that's not all he does. But he had the popsicle stick in my buddy's mouth, right? Mm-hmm. And as he's looking with the light, so he's looking and he's got the popsicle stick, he's got the light. He's like, I saw you the other day. I saw you, walking across the street. You kept walking, but I was scared you were gonna go in. And he said, when he said I was scared you're gonna go in, apparently he put the popsicle stick a little further down his throat.
Just remember, your life's in my hand.
I was scared you were gonna go in. I was like, is he gonna do? No, but you kept walking. You kept walking. You're a good boy. You kept walking.
But I do know how to alter lab results. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, it's truly wild. And he apparently, that guy across the street had some like altercation at a conference. So it it runs deep. Like, because he'll be seeing that dude, because I guess that's the same type of doctor. And so he'll be seeing that dude at local conferences. And apparently they had words one time that was not that long ago, because they both old as hell, right? And that's what I really love to see, is old men fight. You know, that's one of life's joys, is when you can watch two old men fight.
Yeah, one of the first things we talked about on this show was your joy of old men fighting.
Especially if it's two old doctors, because that means they're going to know what they broke.
Yeah, they come out with scalpels ready to have a
like
Jets versus Sharks knife fight.
As soon as they land, they know what's hurt.
Yep.
That dude straight up was like going, and I'll have to ask him some more examples, but he would just talk about him so much. He would talk about him more than he would talk about my friend's health.
What was going on? Yeah. Yes, my focus as a practitioner is vengeance.
Yeah. This dude said to him, this doesn't even make any sense because he's an adult, so he wasn't even going to get one. But he was like, there's some type of lollipop that he swears he was giving out to kids first. And then that guy saw him giving out those lollipops, so that he started buying those lollipops. And just the one-upmanship of, essentially, it's like if a Dunkin' Donuts was across from a Starbucks and they just had beef about like, that's our tactic, that's our sale, that's our coffee, whatever.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like with the doctor. I don't even know if the other doctor has a problem with him.
Yeah, it'd be great if that other doctor like doesn't remember him. He's like, oh yeah, from across the street. Oh yeah, you son of a bitch.
That dude across the street talking about, we went to school together.
Yeah. Good guy. Good, just guy. Full of laughs. Just a fun guy to be around.
A funny story. When we was in school, my wife dated him for a little while. You find out that's what it is. You find out that's what started it.
But a great guy, great practitioner. Honestly, a great second opinion. You go right over there.
You go right over there. He's got the good lollipops, you know.
He's got the good ones. I don't know where he gets them. I remembered something that when I was at an eye appointment, and this is a short one, but this eye doctor I had for a little while, kind of big guy. I think he said he grew up on a farm, just like kind of a big, just kind of like generally kind of burly almost guy. But he would really get, way up on you, looking in your eyes. And there was one point where he really slid up, and there's no polite way to put this, but his balls were resting on my leg. Like I felt them, like on either side of my shin was a testicle, and like he just really like was up on me, and I'm like, this is clearly too comfortable. You feel that, right? You have to feel that.
You have to know that this is happening.
You have to know. I can feel it. I can feel both of them. Come on now.
The favorite thing that I think I've, just for the suspense of it, that I've had a friend go through was when we were younger. One of my friends had to get his his appendix taken out, and met the surgeon beforehand. Just like a little I don't know, introduction, because he was nervous and everything.
Right.
And so met the surgeon maybe a week before the actual procedure was going to take place. Because it wasn't I can't remember why they did it, because it wasn't like it was going to burst and they had to take it out or, whatever. It wasn't like some emergency surgery. It was literally like it kept getting inflamed or something. And so they were like, we'd rather take it out than have you have trouble down the road,
Right, yeah.
There was just something with it where it just kept getting inflamed. Anyway, said all that to say, he meets the surgeon. Surgeon walks into the office where he's waiting. As soon as he walks in, the surgeon falls hard. Okay.
Oh God.
This dude, this dude falls so hard and caught some of the desk on the way down. Like, and so he gets up. He gets up and he's holding his nose, trying to act like nothing happened, like trying to act like, oh, sorry about that, But I'm pretty sure this dude broke his nose.
Mm-hmm. Oh, froze. Oh, there we go. Squirrels.
I'm pretty sure this dude broke his nose, right?
Oh, no.
And so he gets up holding his nose, but trying to continue the conversation like he's not in pain, okay? And then goes to sit down, almost misses the chair on the way to sit down. Sits down, is talking it out with him, talking about what they're going to do, holding his nose the whole time. So now he's like, he's like, you don't have to worry. The recovery time isn't that long. Like, hand in nose the whole time, right?
Bro, just come back.
Then,
just go and come back.
And then he thinks it's going to be like a halfway decent idea, whatever, right? To show him like it's not the real thing, because that would have been insane, but it's like an animated cartoon of like what happens, right? So it's not crude at all. It's not like something that's like it's like to put him at ease, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, he has two remotes and he cannot figure out which remote is gonna like make the TV play the video.
Guy.
And if my buddy was nervous before surgery, that kid went into surgery like, I'm gonna die because this is the clumsiest man I've ever seen. This dude broke his nose when we met. My life is in his very clumsy hands.
Yeah, that's at the very least you're getting a little bit of his nose blood in you.
That was crazy. And then, obviously he had the surgery and he's fine. But like leading up to it, because he was telling us, he was like, I'm very nervous. And we were like, oh, I've heard of other kids. And he's like, you don't understand. And then he told us a story. And I was like, ooh, yeah, you might want to. You might just want to have a lawyer on retainer because you're going to be maimed.
Yeah. To be a clumsy and then to not even be able to properly put on the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You're going home with a watch in your abdomen at the least. At the least.
Man, my right side feels so heavy.
Just keep feeling this little like tick going. Come on.
Yeah. Oof.
A little rhythm inside me. I don't know.
Yeah, every time I lay on my side, I feel like I'm really sinking into the bed.
I do have real quick the difference between a duster and a trench coat.
All right, hit us.
Because I looked it up. It actually gave me a nice little chart, weirdly. But basically, dusters are longer. They tend to go down longer. Trench coats tend to go to like just below the knee. Dusters longer. Duster coat is usually lightweight, full-length coat without buttons. Trench coat is long, loose, double-breasted coat with a belt.
Okay.
So literally the little belt is part of it. Dusters are meant to be worn open. Trench coats meant to be closed. So that's where dusters, that's why they're cowboy stuff. They're meant to have a little swagger to you.
Yeah.
And dusters usually don't have buttons, belts, and pockets. Trench coats have all of the above. So there you go. That's Logan's research corner. That's a new segment before the mailbag.
I mean, I'm glad we got it. I'm glad we know now. I don't want the people listening to go out into the world ignorant, embarrassing themselves.
Yeah. That's the thing. We raised a question, and we intended on answering it. We got to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you got to listen to the whole show. You never know what questions we'll answer at the end. That's where the knowledge is. That's where it all comes together.
That's where all the juice is.
That's where all the juice is. Speaking of the mailbag that I mentioned, should we open that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. How about we do some reviews from Apple Podcasts? We haven't checked in there in a second. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This first one here, this is bear in mind, this is a 5-star review from Apple Podcasts. This is from username Nastius, which I love. Sounds like the Greek god of nasty. It's the Greek god of stank, Nastius. But 5-star review. The title is Meh. And it says, I honestly couldn't get into it. I'm on my second run-through of the available episodes, and I just can't stop laughing. The two guys hosting could have a bit more of that ShamWow attitude. I'm not really sure what any of that means, if I'm honest.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I think on the second run-through, maybe we're not for everybody. I think if you listen to all of it and then you listen to all of it again, that's the only way to find out if we're really your people.
Now, how do we harness some more of that ShamWow energy? What do you think is missing from the show that's not ShamWow enough?
I think cocaine.
You think cocaine?
Yeah.
You think just?
I think cocaine changes the vibe of any show.
Yeah. Okay. 2023. That's the year we do it on cocaine. See what changes. Let's see what's next. This one here is from Fuvdtvh, Fuvdtvh. The title is Hilarious, and it just says, the stories. My God, the stories are priceless. Josh is such a great storyteller, and Logan's laughter is contagious. So hilarious. 5 stars. Thank you for that one. This is from Still Ginger, and the title is The Best Bromance, Hands Down. Josh, would you say we have a bromance? Would you say that? Would you say that on record?
What did the reviewer say?
Okay, he'll answer off mic. Their dynamic is everything. This is one of my comfort shows and helps me to wind down before bed, as well as from panic attacks. They're so ridiculous and lovely, and they're very similar to my friends, if I'm honest. It feels very personable, which I think is the charm. Thank you for that, and I'm glad we help.
Yeah, me too.
If I have panic attacks, I know they suck. I'm glad we can help bring you down from them. And then this one here, this is from Tiger Food, and the title is Listen to Them All. It says, first of all, I'm very thankful to have found this podcast after listening to Josh's stand-up for years, parentheses, although still crossing my fingers to see a show in person. Check our websites. But Josh's stand-up for years to find Logan. Logan is my later life me, and Josh seems to live the life I used to lead. Okay. I'm the old one. Yin and Yang Gang. Oh, I like that. I found myself spellbound and laughing with you every step of the way. Looking forward to getting on that Patreon and giving more of that support. Thank you so much for that review, Tiger Food, and thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Tiger Food. Thank you, everybody,
there.
for real. This is it's just great to know people are enjoying the show because we've been doing it for a while now, and the fact that I don't know, it's just nice that you can put something out there, and then even if it's later, people can find it and really love it.
Yeah, I think that's where, because we have a good group of kind of day ones and diehards who we've gotten to know a little bit, but it's fun when you get reviews like that from people who are finding it now and reaching out, and means the world to us. So thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Josh Johnson Show. We had a great time recording. I hope you had a great time listening. If you are looking to catch up with us on any of the socials, you can find me at Josh Johnson Comedy on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, where we're going to be posting clips of the show. I'm also on Twitter at Josh Johnson. And if you still use Facebook, it's Josh J Comedy. But if you're looking for Logan,
You can follow me on Instagram at Logan M. Nielsen. And if you want to get in the mailbag, like some of those people there's two ways to do it. You can either email us, joshjohnsonshow@gmail.com, or you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts there, because not only do we appreciate it and we love reading them, it actually helps our visibility on the platform. So we greatly appreciate it. And one of those reviews mentioned our Patreon, patreon.com/Josh Johnson Show. We have a bunch of bonus stuff there. We have bonus podcasts. We have bonus video stuff. We have live show replays. And also we have some live shows coming up that the two of us are on next week, actually, right? As this comes out, we'll be in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. That's next week, right? The
6th through the 8th.
6th through the 8th.
Sacramento Punchline,
and then at the end of the month, we are going to be in Richmond, Virginia together. I'm sure you have stuff in between that. Do you want to pitch that, or just go to your website?
No, go to the website. You can get the tickets in the show link under this, or the link in my bio on any of the socials.
Yeah. And we put all of our Linktree stuff in the episode bios too, so that will take you to all the stuff we have, whether it's albums or podcasts or whatever.
Have a great rest of the week into the weekend, everybody, for real. And get your checkup, We want everybody to be good out here.
You got to go get checked up. And if you work at a doctor's office, be a little nice.
I think that everywhere I've been except that one place was very good.
That's true.
That's true.
All right, hey, mostly everyone out there, you're doing great. Couple of you, boo.
Yeah. Really one lady, because that dude couldn't help he's sick. Yeah, that's just on her.